Hi, my name is Kath or Kathleen. I've been living full-time in this van, a 2007 Ford E250, since December of 2020 when I bought it with 140,000 miles for $9,000, then spent the next 4.5 months building it out. I filmed every moment of my van build, but I never posted it. So now here we are 5 years later, where I'm going to take you back to the beginning when I built the van, show you what I did right, what I did wrong, and I'll get to show you how everything has held up over the last 5 years. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Click that bell notification if you don't want to miss out on one of my videos. And now we can go back to December of 2020 and see that Kathleen when she first bought this van, and everything looks a whole lot different. I bought a van. The current state of the van. Everything's ripped out. All of the carpet was soaking wet. And time to clean this. My engine. Looks bigger in here now. Second day of the van. Bought the van yesterday, and the outside looked great. Didn't have any problems that we could see, and so it had a bunch of these racks back here, all in the back of the van, and we spent the entire morning. I spent the entire morning unbolting them, and then I ended up having to have someone come and actually like saw off some of the bolts that were practically welded onto the van, but got those out. And then as we were doing that, I found out that I looked under the carpet and all of the carpet was wet. All of the carpet was wet. I don't know where water was coming in from. Maybe like this hole right here. I'm not sure what it was used for, because this was an old Cox van. I found a bunch of Cox books and manuals and whatnot. So I pulled up all the carpet and then swept out the entire van. There was like 3 inches of mud that were just in the door frame, sitting there. I didn't even know it was possible that there would be so much water under the carpet and so much mud inside the van, and so many bolts and screws that had just been like lost by all of the other workers that were using the van for work. Luckily the rust is just surface rust, and tomorrow I'll be going to Home Depot and getting some stuff to degrade the rust on all of the surfaces, and then I'll be spraying all the surfaces down to protect them, and hopefully I'll have seats tomorrow, because right now I have no seats. Day 3. Today I'm going to be cleaning everything inside the van, getting all the mud out, trying to dry everything, clean it all up, do some rush treatment, and then hopefully we can get some more done, but it's a little cloudy and it's gonna rain today, so let's go. of destruction is done. Today I went ahead and cleaned all of the mud out of the van, and I sprayed it all out with water, dried the entire thing, grinded down some places that had rust, and now I have a rust treatment to remove all the rust on here. After I wait for this to dissolve the rust, I'm gonna spray out the entire van again, dry the entire van again, and then tomorrow I'll be putting another rust treatment on here that's going to seal up everything and stop it from rusting any further, hopefully. To paint today, I have to get a bit more of the rust off because one of the products that I was planning on using will not work. One, because it's too cold. Two, because it's gonna take 24 hours for it to dry, and I'm gonna need to drive my van in the next couple of days, so that won't work. So I'm going to be grinding off and scraping off some more rust, and then I'll be spraying primer and paint to protect it. Today is day 4? Day 4 or 5? Day 4 or 5 of the van build. Today I'm going to be spray painting the whole inside of the van, and I just got done sanding and getting some more rust off of the roof here and other places. I'm gonna clean everything up and just do a primer and then a white spray paint on all the wall ceilings. I've gotten everything taped up. Yesterday I wasn't able to work because I had to get the radiator replaced and new brakes and my tires aligned. So hopefully I can get a lot of work done today because I actually have to take a trip tomorrow and I need to take this with me, and I'll be putting some very random furniture in it to make sure I have something to sleep on and sit on my trip. Okay, well, let's go. Everything is taped and covered as well as I can. I did some rust removal on the roof and double checked the floor. Did the best I can. At this point, I figure it's never going to be perfect. Some more on the roof. I'm about to take some mineral spirits and clean up everything, and then time to spray paint. So I got the walls and the roof wiped down and cleaned. I sprayed primer on them, and now I'm about to spray white paint, and thank God they're gonna be underneath walls because I have realized I am horrible at spray painting. I try and do the like 8 to 10 inch thing and the like back and forth thing, and then yeah, it's still just not good. So luckily it'll all be covered and it'll all be white. So it's okay. The van's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. No home is ever really perfect. What you do is you just put your things in it, you make it comfortable for you, and then once you have your things in it and it's comfortable for you, it feels like home. And even though it's imperfect, you don't notice its flaws anymore. So it's okay. It'll be great.
Sadly, she has no idea that she made one fatal flaw that's gonna cause her to have to do this all over again in a week's time.
So we're at the end of the day. I'm still not done yet, but it's starting to get dark. So I got the entire roof and all of the walls primed and painted white. Sadly, I didn't get to paint the floor white. It still just has primer on it, and I didn't get to do the doors and fix the doors or anything on the doors and make them nice. Now I have to cut some Reflectix to cover the windows, clean up some of the mess because spray paint mist went all over everything. And then I have to change the radio. And after changing the radio, put some makeshift furniture in here because I have to take a trip tomorrow and I'll be gone for like a week maybe. So I won't be able to work on the van and I'll have to stay in it with the bare necessities. Even though I have boxes full of all of the things I want to put in the van, I don't have time to do it now. So, time to keep going. Just time to stop recording. After painting the walls, I filled the van with some odds and ends. I put a rug on the ground to add some insulation for the floor and a futon sofa for something to sleep on, along with a sleeping bag, a cooler, some food. When I arrived back from my holiday work visa in Australia and I had bought the van, a day after arriving back, I found out that my father had had a stroke. I was living in Pensacola, Florida, and he was living in Orlando, and I quickly put these things in it so I could go down and try and visit him while he was in the hospital. And that is why this van build series stops very suddenly, and then you see me with these odds and ends in the back of the van. After going down and visiting him, I came back up and I continued my build, and that is where we will start part 2 of this van build series. Thanks so much for joining me for part 1 of this van build series. If you've made it to the end of the video, leave a little flower emoji so I can thank you so much for being here and all of your support, and we'll see how many flowers we can get in the comments. If you have any questions or comments, also go ahead and leave them down there. I love to reply to you guys. If your first question is, how did she pay $9,000 for a 2007 Ford E250? It was the end of 2020 and all of that was happening, and used car prices were very inflated. I bought the very first van that I saw because I figured, why wait? I want to start my new life now. And I knew that it would be really difficult for me to find another van that was maybe slightly cheaper or had slightly lower mileage that was in my area, and I just wanted to get to work. But if you have any other comments or questions, leave them below. I'd love to answer you guys. And thank you so much again for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in part 2 of this series where we start to actually build and do more work on the van and get everything to come together. Bye!